Precor Glutebuilder abductor. So this is almost like, it looks like it's angled down and back, so looks like it joined the Gluteator train, the Dynavec Gluteator, or I guess now will be the Body Masters G-Max, since Jeff I guess is trying to revive Body Masters instead. Okay, so this piece, just from the initial impressions, you have the, plate horns right here. These are just to store, and then we have the loading horns back there with, you can see band pegs, so for sure band pegs. This is the range of motion adjuster right here, in and out. Honestly, like at the very most inward setting, it's good enough. It definitely is not like really bottoming out. Like there's a little bit of bottoming out. It's not like as tight as Strive, but or Prime, the adductor, but it's pretty good. You have the handles to grip onto to stabilize yourself. You have handles here, just like with the Gluteator. I will say, when you're leaning back more, the angle of this thing back more, to try to hit like different, you have full hip extension versus hip flexion when doing this. I think it's targeting the glutes in different ways. When you lean back, you have to scoot back a little bit more, and my knees will not like fully contact this knee pad right here. It'll actually be only like the first quarter or third of it, so I don't feel as great leverage against it to push, and it becomes like even harder obviously when you extend your legs out. You don't have your knee have as much knee flexion, you have more knee extension. Like it becomes an even harder movement. Like you could probably hit your glute in different ways doing that. I'm just giving my observations, my initial impressions. So leaning back, for somebody my height, I'm not even 5'5", I'm 165 centimeters, so just under 5'5", 155 pounds, something like that. So ladies who try to use this, it might be a little bit hard to reach, hard to drive with your legs if you're in a more reclined position. I'll show it from the front. So, you sit pretty upright. So really upright. Good range of motion, actually. You don't bottom out. And then do the knee. So it's outwards and downwards, very similar to Gluteator. Definitely a lot of drop off. It looks like the rear one goes up 30 degrees or so. What's that, like 20-something% drop off? Less knee flexion. It's definitely a little harder. My legs contact the thigh pads or the leg pads less also. I wish there were like a seat belt, like the Gluteator actually. I guess Next, you're just gonna hold onto it. It's the abductors pretty well. Ooh. Put some more weight. It's actually dual band pegs in the back, so you can see one on each side of the plates. Way harder to do when you're leaning back. I don't get as much contact, I don't get as much drive. Ooh, yeah, it definitely hits the adductors, abductors, abductors, my bad. Let's get a little close up. So you have three settings there. Most people probably use the 1 or 2 settings. Take back what I said before about bottoming out. You will not bottom out this thing unless your legs are absolutely tiny. Easier with more knee flexion, harder with less knee flexion, more knee extension. If these pads were a little bit longer, that'd be cool, but if you had, big legs, it would get in the way. These grips are nice to hold on to while you're doing that setting right there. These nice to anchor yourself down. Would be better with the seat belt. Look at all of these hip extension settings or hip flexion settings. So I'm only on setting 3. You can go back 7 more, like all the way down to like reclined almost. Weight storage, weight loading, dual band pegs down there. Let me try it with fully hip extension. Get the side view. Extension, like my knees barely contact the very beginning of this pad. And then if I do this, it doesn't even contact. So this is definitely, that's like the main thing. Oh my gosh, that's crazy feeling. There's a gap right here, you can see. The more hip extension you do, so the more lay back you do, I definitely feel more glute versus sitting up. I feel more abductor, and hips. yeah, you can see I had the almost like hip thrust position. Like my hips are not anchored to the bottom of the pad, or my hips and low back are not anchored, just because I'm short. But dude, it still feels great. My butt is on fire right now. Great machine.